Hello everybody, welcome to this week's video. I'm back in my hometown visiting family, and I know it was Thanksgiving this weekend, so a lot of people probably had a lot of family time. So I know that can bring up a lot of stuff, a lot of good times, a lot of bad times. So yeah, whatever it was for you, I just hope you got something out of it. So today I'm doing a tapping on healing sexual shame. So I have to give credit to someone who asked me about this following my previous video on sacred sexuality. I think this is a really, really big, deep topic because, you know, you can kind of look at the relationship to sexuality as a microcosm of the macrocosm. Like the primordial wound is reflected in sexuality. And and part of the manifestation of that is this distorted religious programming around sexual shame, which we a lot of us carry in our bodies, and it goes back many generations. Not to say that, as I mentioned before, I don't think I think religion has a lot of um, some beneficial ideas about sexuality, but it's been tampered with um, into a distorted fashion to create more shame, which I don't think was the original intent of these teachings. So that's where we're at in this day and age, trying to undo these distortions. So I'm going to do a tapping and potentially some theta downloads. We'll see about that. Around healing sexual shame, around like just sexuality in general, around having certain desires, and around shame around being queer or being shamed around for being queer. So as you can tell, this is a very, very deep thing, and this tapping will be a step in that direction, but it's an ongoing thing, right? These things have very, very deep roots. So I'll just get started, and as always, just follow after me, and feel free to tweak it to what your specific situation is. Okay? So we'll begin here. Even though I have shame around sexuality, I've been taught my whole life that it is shameful, or there was always like this don't ask, don't tell policy around sexuality. And, I might consciously think differently about sex, but it's still really deeply ingrained within me, this idea that sex is bad, that it's sinful, that it's gross, that it's dirty, that it's shameful. That makes me a bad person, makes me a bad girl. I might have been shamed for being queer and told that was wrong and that was shameful and dirty and sinful. I might have some desires that I find embarrassing that I feel like I can't share with anybody. I might feel gross or dirty or weird for having these desires. But even though I have negative programming around sexuality, that I have this idea that it's shameful, or that, being queer is shameful, or that having certain desires is shameful, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. I choose to release the shame around sexuality, the idea that it's wrong, that it's sinful, that it makes me a bad person for engaging with it or even thinking about it. I choose to release the shame and replace it with the idea that sexuality is a part of who I am. It's an authentic part of what makes me human. It's a part of my expression. Oh, by the way, this is at the top of the head over here, in case you can't see that. And that I deserve to have a healthy relationship with sexuality and to integrate it as an authentic part of who I am. There's nothing wrong with sex, having certain desires, being queer. It makes me who I am. And accessing this part of myself in a embodied way helps me to become more of who I am. Helps me to express myself, express my creativity and my life force. It's a powerful part of who I am as a person. And I'm committing to integrating this part of me within myself, developing a relationship with this aspect of myself. Because I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. I deserve to have access to this part of myself. It is safe to have access to this part of myself. I'm worthy of embodying everything about myself. And that includes sexuality. Because I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. I'm a sexy person. I'm a sensual person. These are parts of myself that I deserve to express in confidence, in radiance, rather than in hiding or in shame. Because I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Embodying the whole part of me is my birthright. And when I shine my full expression of who I am, the world is better off for it. So I'm choosing to embody all parts of myself in wholeness, which includes sexuality, because I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Okay, just finish that out. Okay, so that's the tapping part. I also want to say if so many of us have experienced sexual trauma, and that will definitely affect our ability to tap into this part of ourselves. So I just want to acknowledge that as a component to embodying our sexuality. And if if that's you, then that's like another avenue worth exploring, like how to work with the trauma, transmute it in order to embody like your full self. So let's do some Theta downloads. So yeah, for Theta, I will say the beliefs. You just have to say yes to download them. They require a belief in a higher power for it to work. If you're atheist, you can still, yeah, EFT I'd recommend, or you can like still listen to the Theta downloads and incorporate it like, in some other way, like the beliefs. So, without further ado, Theta downloads. So, if you'd like to release shame around sexuality and replace it with unconditional love, then just say yes. It is safe to be sexual. I deserve a healthy relationship to my sexuality. I know how to access my sexuality in the highest and best way. I know how it feels to access my sexuality in the highest and best way. I know how to use my sexual energy in the highest and best way. Releasing the idea that sex makes me a bad, wrong, sinful person and replacing it with the idea that sexuality is an authentic part of who I am. And downloading the belief that I'm sexy and beautiful, as well as it is safe to be in my body. I know how to be in my body. I deserve and I'm worthy of being in my body. Okay, so there's some stuff to work with. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions, then you can always reach out. You can always reach out to me. So I will see you at the next video. Goodbye.